Thank you. Good evening. My name is John Putnam, Johnputnam. I'm the Director of Environmental Programs for the Colorado Department of Public Health and the Environment. The Department of Public Health and the Environment frequently acts as a cooperating agency on NEPA reviews under the CEQ regulations as an agency with specialized experience on Colorado's air and water quality, hazardous materials, requirements, and public health. Our ability to protect Colorado's air, water, land, and public health will be damaged by the proposed rules. When President Nixon signed the National Environmental Policy Act in 1970, he stated that it would contribute to a period when, quote, America pays its debt to the past by reclaiming the purity of its air, its waters, and our living environment, unquote. CEQ now proposes to reverse this legacy by going back into environmental debt. The proposed changes seek to replace transparency and informed decision-making with a policy of willful blindness to the full environmental and public health consequences of federal decisions. The proposed changes are inconsistent with both the letter and the intent of NEPA and must be scrapped in their entirety. Many of our pressing and challenging environmental challenges are one that the proposed rules would deliberately ignore under the proposed willful blindness rules. These include attainment of federal standards for ground level ozone, climate change, regional haze, and particulate matter, and watershed impairment. These challenges to our health and environment are driven by indirect and cumulative actions. Given the shortness of time and the comments on from my colleagues in the state of Colorado regarding climate change and wildlife, I'll focus on the potent threat to public health from ground level ozone. The Denver Metro North Front Range ozone non-attainment area was recently reclassified to serious for failure to attain the 2008 ozone national ambient air quality standard. Other parts of the state, including the Colorado Springs area and portions of the western slope, hover just below these standards and are at risk of violation depending on cross-border emissions. Ozone is the ultimate cumulative or indirect impact because it is formed from secondary reactions in the atmosphere on a regional scale. It's not directly emitted with just one or two causal links, but the product of cumulative emissions in the vicinity of an area and upwind. Indeed, modeling studies of the highest ozone days here in the Denver area show that 65 to 75% of the ozone results from interstate transport that we cannot control. This includes decisions relating to oil and gas development, coal, transportation, and other projects approved by federal agencies. While Colorado has taken significant steps to minimize emissions from sources within the state and is in the process of taking more, our efforts would be undercut by federal decisions that do not consider the cumulative and indirect effects of their actions, including alternatives and mitigation to reduce these effects. The result is impaired public health, disproportionate effects on net environmental justice communities, increased healthcare costs and loss of economic productivity, and increased costs for Colorado businesses. The same analysis of the effects of the proposed rule applied to our protection of water under Clean Water Act Section 401, regional haze, particulate matter, restoration of impaired waters, to name just a few environmental challenges. Good public policy, the letter of NEPA, and 50 years of successful protection since President Nixon's signing of NEPA require full and transparent assessment of all of the environmental consequences of a proposed decision. The proposed rule would provide the opposite, a policy of deliberate imposition of undisclosed consequences. It will impair human health and the environment, impose costs on states like Colorado, and usher in a new era of litigation and project delays. The department urges CEQ to withdraw this unsalvageable proposed rule and establish an appropriate dialogue with all stakeholders. Thank you.